Well, it's finally here. The streak is over. Well, the streak within the streak, I guess. The worst thing is I didn't fail 200. I failed 180 today. What can I say? I didn't feel strong at all today. Now that I think about it, that 120 for 10 yesterday in the front squat felt brutally taxing. You guys saw the first set. I did another set. That felt very hard, but I didn't think it was going to lead to this morning. Yeah, I just felt really weak in my hips, my legs, my knees. Everything felt good. I still warmed up with the same routine, 10 sets of 3 jumps. I did exactly what I've been doing for the last 30 freaking days, 31 days. I just didn't have it in me today. I watched the video a few times now. I get to that sticking point and I literally feel like I've lose all power. My knees go in, my butt shoots back, and I just go on my tippy toes. I don't know whether you guys can tell any of these things, but that's exactly what I felt. And at that point I was like, okay, so this is a very bad position. My knees are compromised, my hips are completely compromised. I've lost all torque in them. I've completely buckled my legs in. And I know, that's not the worst knee valgus you've ever seen, but it's all about relativity. It's where are you usually and where are you now type of thing. And then I just dropped it because I felt off balance, and that was it. In the first couple of seconds after the lift, I was like, all right, I'll clean the bar up, clean the weights off, put the bar up, put the weights back on and have another attempt. And I thought, nah, let's check ourselves here. This is not a do or die streak. This is not supposed to freaking end with an injury. Let's leave it here. I got a month in, and let's take a freaking break, man. Definitely the last 7 days, there's been moments in the first 14 days, first 2 weeks, but definitely in the last week, I felt more than one occasion some nerves leading up to the training session because of this expectation to hit 200. And I never really, put that much pressure on me, like that. But there's always kind of a voice in your head, all right, let's get another 200 today. And a lot of those days, I didn't feel like I wanted to do 200. I didn't feel like I was going to hit 200. It's just the 180s always moved well enough for me to attempt 200, and I've been getting them. But not today. So anyway, end of the streak. It is what it is. Now I need to probably spend the following 7 days not touching anything near 180 or 200. Just stay away from the heavy stuff for a little while, and focus on the other things right now. I'm thinking about focusing on the rows, and this is an opportunity now for me to go back to what led me to all of this, the bodyweight squats, thinking about push-ups, all that kind of stuff. That's all kind of stopped in this 200 kilo streak. You just go very hard to manage all of that. A large portion of that first week or two of the streak, I was on annual leave. And so for the last, I want to say 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that, I've been working. And so, doing push-ups, 1,000 freaking push-ups, doing 1,000 freaking, bodyweight squats is just impossible. You just don't have the time to do all of that and work and all of that. So let's see if I can, wash away some of this fatigue, and hopefully I've got a PR at the end of this, but I don't really care about that. Let's just wash away the fatigue now, and go from there. It's when you're in the heat of the battle, you don't really feel the fatigue building, but I would assume that I have lots of fatigue in my system right now. Maybe I can hit 215, maybe I can hit 220. Let's see what happens. What I'm thinking right now is actually just to front squat, completely forget about back squats completely. just completely have that off the table and just focus on front squats. The good thing with front squats is that it's a lot less weight. So if I continue doing, I don't know, 120 kilos for, sets of 10 or something like that, maybe instead of doing a few sets a day, I'll just do that once for one set, or maybe one set every other day or something like that. I don't really know how I'm going to play this. But now that the streak is over, I can really just focus on the other stuff, which I'm kind of glad in a way. But to be real, I wish I got today, and I wish I got tomorrow, and I wish, I could get, 200 for 3 and 4 and 5 reps, all in the same streak. But with the introduction of the front squats and the rows, I kind of saw this coming. It's just so taxing. And I'm not even rowing huge weights either, man. It's just something about that position really compromises me. The upper back is just taxed. Then you do the front squats, that's more taxing there. Yesterday in the front squat, I really felt, the first set felt all right, but the second one that wasn't off camera, I really felt like I was really working hard to maintain that position. The front rack, I started actually getting, lower abs fatigue as well, like almost cramping. That was the first time I've had that. And I thought to myself, oh, gee, that was a freaking hard set. It had me really spent. And this morning I woke up and I was like, oh, damn, okay, let's warm up. There's many days where I wake up and I feel like absolute crap. But then you hop around a little bit, jump around a little bit, all of a sudden that kind of washes away and you're good to go again. And you hit another 200. But today was real. I always say to you guys, never make the call from the couch. Never make the call from your bed. Because there's a lot of fog, there's a lot of distortion of how you actually feel. A lot of the times, if you get up off that couch, you drive to the gym and you warm up, you feel freaking amazing. So every single day I do this. I wake up, I get out of my comfort zone, which is the home, the bed, the couch, all that stuff, and I come outside here and I warm up, and I'm like, okay, it's not so bad. We can work today. And so that was my approach today. I didn't feel good. But then I warmed up. And I got ready to squat and I still didn't feel good. And so that is a true indicator that today was not going to be the day. But still, you progress with the weights. You go 100, 140, 160, your normal routines. And when you feel like you hit a wall, and that's it. 160 didn't feel too bad, but 180 felt like this is it. If I can't maintain posture with 180, there's no way in hell I'm going to put 200 on my back. Absolutely no way. That's not even a consideration. It's kind of weird like that with strength. There's like you're good, and then you fall off a cliff. And you fall off a cliff because some place on your body, some muscle, failed, completely just shat itself. And then it was a cascade of events really quickly, and then the whole structure breaks. But it's very hard to pin, You could say, oh, your weak back couldn't push it through. But really, just like Greg Knuckles has written in that article, your back was the last thing to fail. What was the first thing? It's hard to say, but a lot of the times it's your quads. Okay, your quads start to fail, and then let's say your outer hip started to fail because your knee valgus started creeping in. And then once your knee valgus starts creeping in, then it's all back because your hips start to shoot back, and then it becomes a good morning squat. And then, okay, you think to yourself, why can't you hip extend through that position? Well, it's really hard to hip extend from that position when you are in a knee valgus position where you're internally rotating your femur. Very hard to do that because the hips, the external rotators, the glute max and the hamstrings and some adductors, they need to work with such poor mechanical disadvantage that they're trying to reverse, they're trying to externally rotate those femurs from a very deep and ugly position, and so they are now working with huge loads and they fail as well. So see how if the first guy fails, then it's a cascade of events, it's a domino effect, and the last guy is like, no way can I hold up 20 freaking dominoes. And so a lot of the times you can foolishly look at that last guy and say, you failed, man, you're a scrubber, why did you do that? But that's not the case. That's a foolish coach, that's a foolish mind, that's a foolish set of eyes. The whole system failed. It's kind of like in basketball, right? Some guy drives to the hoop and dunks on the guy, and the center fouls him during the dunk process. And then so everyone's like, why did you do that? It's a 3-point play now. Well, he failed. Okay, that's fine. He tried to block the shot. He tried to be the last man in the defense. What about the guard that let the player drive in? So the guard in the perimeter who let that guy drive into the paint is also at fault because he got beat. He got beat and he sent his man, so the offensive player, ran down the hill and up into the big guy. The big guy can't vertically jump and contest a guy who's got 4 or 5 steps leading, running up and jumping over the guy. If you've ever done a jump test, stationary vertical jump is very, very hard. Much harder than somebody taking 3 or 4 leaps and taking that gather step and then jumping. So oftentimes the 7-footer gets dunked on by a freaking 6'4" guy, and you think, wow, that 6'4" guy is really impressive. No, he's just had an advantage. He's jumping over a freaking trampoline. So in that whole defensive scheme, yes, the center shouldn't have fouled, but he tried to stop the play, and also the perimeter guy screwed up, right? But your 5-man, your center ends up getting 4 fouls, 5 fouls, 6 fouls. He fouls out. Oh, poor guy, he's fouled out. You look at the box score, he's like, oh, what a shit player. It's not like that. Just like it's not the lower back and the posterior chain failing you in the squat. What failed first? That's also equally at fault. So this is where like a mature training mind looks at all this stuff and you're like, okay, so my back didn't have it in me, but my back also didn't have it in me because that is not the normal load for the back in that disadvantaged position. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You can have a deadlift freaking 300 kilos and you can't catch a 180 kilo squat in the bad position. Doesn't that sound interesting? You've got a 300 kilo squat, but you can't good morning 180 kilo squat. So you've got a deadlift that's 300 and you can't good morning 180. Why is that the case? Well, you can't because you're mechanically disadvantaged. You got complete knee valgus, complete internal rotation of the hips. That is a very, very bad position for your hip external rotators and your hip extensors. That's how I look at it, man. And so today I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is the first guy that failed? Let's talk about that guy. Let's talk about the perimeter guard that let the dude drive in. You're at fault, man. You're screwed up. But even then, it's like, okay, I made a mistake, but surely my teammates can pick up the slack. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So it depends on how badly you get your freaking ankles broken on the perimeter. How badly does your knee valgus, happen. So this is kind of how I think about these things. And, sometimes like, in the past, the last few days, I've been telling you guys, the bar freaking slows down and it's like painfully slow and it's not an enjoyable lift, but there is postural integrity. Nothing has completely shut itself. My knees have stayed out, my back has stayed flat, my core has stayed strong, my upper back is flat. That's a good lift. Doesn't matter, it slows down. Okay, we're feeling weak today, it's slow down. But we didn't fail. You know what I mean? We didn't completely crumble under the weight. When you crumble under the weight, you pick your shit up, you get your bag, and you go home. And that's exactly the day I had today. Appreciate all of you guys, and I'll catch you tomorrow for, I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but we'll do something. Appreciate you. Peace out.